So we are going to start with a panel discussion. We have 6 ladies here. Debbie volunteered to be the moderator. We have Klaudia, Andrea, Csilla, Kati, and Imola here. And I'm not going to waste more time, but pass over the mic.
Thank you, Attila. And I'm trying to think, what's the word for hello? I think it's Zia. Zia? Is that right? Zia. And welcome to everybody. Thanks for being here. So, Women in Test, ISTQB Women in Test. A little bit about this initiative. We launched this about 2 years ago, and we've traditionally done a lot of webinars where we've talked to women about their experience in testing. So how is it that they've come to be in the positions that they are today? What were the challenges? What were the obstacles? And trying to just advocate for women in testing, trying to share some experiences, trying to just kind of create some type of a community feeling about it, that we're all in it together, including, I have to say, all of you wonderful gentlemen who are here today, I think possibly outnumbering the ladies, but we won't go into that. We've had some absolutely fabulous events recently for Women in Test, notably an event in Kenya, where we had a similar panel discussion, and also an event with the UN Women, which was part of something called WEPS, the Women Empowerment Principles. And Klaudia, I know you took part, and it was a really positive discussion that we had 700 registrations from around the world for, and the impressions, I suspect, are going to be in the tens of thousands. So for ISTQB, a great event. For Women in Testing, a really good event. So today we're going to kind of free flow a little bit and see what these ladies can share from their experience. Of course, we have got some prepared questions, but I tend to go a little bit off-piste, as they all know. But I'm trying to be a good girl. I've got my glasses out here so I can read what has been scripted for me. We will touch on a survey that was done where we asked people who are here, I believe, about some of the challenges that women face. So I'm assuming all of you chaps have also responded, so we can have a little bit of a mixture of views. So let's see how it goes. Please participate. Please ask questions. And I know that everybody here is very, very, very keen to be able to share some views, not only their views, but your views also. So before I go into the first kind of questions, I just want to ask the panel to introduce themselves. So we'll start with Imola.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Imola, and I work as a test team lead at the ZEISS Digital Innovation, and I'm also a test manager there. And I also used to hold some trainings at the Masterfield Center, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Katalin Balla, representing here the Hungarian Testing Board. I am a teacher. I teach software quality and software testing at the Technical University. Plus, I do quality audits, CMMI-based audits. That's my background.
Hello from my side. My name is Klaudia. I'm here, I think, in my role as an ISTQB president, but work-wise, I'm head of consulting at a testing company, so I do test process consulting, test management consulting. I'm also teaching one class on software testing at my university because they still don't have it. And I'm also working in the standards on testing, which is a lot of fun, despite the fact that it may sound a little dry.
Hi everyone, I am the outsider. I am an IT security guy, and my name is Andrea Polereczki. And I am in this field 22 years now, and I am an ex-military personnel from NATO classified systems around the world, including battlefields. So I think I had a lot of things to share.
Hello everyone, I'm Csilla. I'm a test manager at Deutsche Telekom right now, and what is special about me, that's my last day of maternity leave today. So from tomorrow, I'm back again on track. Yes, back to work.
Introduce yourself as well.
Myself. So my name is Debbie Archer, and I'm actually part of the IS2QB marketing working group. Hence, I get to do all of these wonderful interviews, and that's as much as I usually say about myself. But thank you very much. So, okay, we're going to go straight in at the deep end here. So I'm going to apologise for this first off. It is in at the deep end. So, ladies, I'd like to ask you, if you compare the industry now to when you first got started, what are the most significant changes that you've noticed for women in the industry? So I'm going to start with Klaudia for this one.
I think if I go back like 20, 25 years ago, fewer women were in the area of software quality assurance, software testing. Definitely nobody in my surrounding that would serve as a role model like female managers. And I think that has changed. But in total, not only for women, I guess also for the men here, the appreciation of testing has changed. When I started in 1998, everybody, the guys who went, or the people that went into testing were the ones that were not good enough for programming. That definitely has changed. So and we even had, how do you call that, the floor below this one? Basement. We even had a basement office, so we're now moving up. Yeah, in the bank. Basement, we were in the basement. And I think that appreciation of getting quality into software has definitely changed. So now it's a profession. I think it's also due to ISTQB and the skill profile, but that is different. I'll hand over to my right.
Okay. According to my experiences, I think the best thing I want to mention, we are visiting a lot of schools the last 5 years, and we are having that part of our program. We can double the participants inside the schools who want to enter any IT role. And I think it is a big achievement for our foundation and our association also. Yes, I am a security guy, but I think at the end of the day, it is a good improvement, all of us. So I think it is the best thing I want to mention. Yes, all, including all of them. All of them. Our programming is including all of the STEM roles. Thanks.
What I also would like to point out, because I'm not an engineer at all. I never studied programming, but I studied at the Faculty of Arts. And what I see is that more and more people, more and more women can join the world of IT because of their language knowledge and because of all these programs and all these kind of trainings. Hungary also offers, with all these schools. So this is also a huge improvement, what I see.
Katalin, can you talk a little bit about the highlights of what you've seen change?
Yes, so I'm a little ashamed to say that I'm started my career 40 years ago, so there was no internet, no mobile phone, no social media, and I just liked mathematics. So and plus I was living in Romania, so it was a closed system. We were not allowed to travel. We were not allowed to get information. So it is an enormous change. It's a very good change in my lifetime. I think by that time it was very normal that women were considered equal to men in the sense that nor men or women could do in fact anything interesting. So you could be an engineer, you could be a teacher, you could be a lawyer maybe, or a doctor. That was the choice. And I think nowadays people and women also have such a great variety and such a great possibility to choose among things, and you also don't have to engage yourself for life into one direction, because you know that if you would like, you can change. And So I think, from my perspective, everything changed in good, in the good direction.
I do not have such a big history, such as only about 13, 14 years. But when I started back in the time, I started as a developer, as an iOS developer, and it was interesting that the role of the tester, I'm not saying that did not exist, but it was much rarer than it is nowadays. What I see today is that I'm glad that I'm teaching at the Masterfield, because also I can hold some trainings for people, for adults who would like to join the IT. And right now what I see that around 50% of the participants are women and male. And both of the genders are performing well. So I think that right now, in the moment what we are living right now, we are doing quite fine. And I'm happy that all of those groups are doing well what I'm teaching, and I'm very proud of them.
You know, listening to what you ladies have said, what strikes me is that it's all very positive. And I've done quite a few of these interviews, and often where we end up is in the challenges and the things which are difficult for women. And it strikes me that none of you have actually mentioned the things that are difficult or tricky. So why don't we go there? We did a poll earlier, and in the poll we asked some questions. And the outcome is quite different to polls that we've done previously. So things that might be significant challenges for women, the lack of access to education and training opportunities. Apparently here, 0% of you see it as an issue. Unconscious bias and stereotyping hindering women. Actually, that's quite a big response there. 42% of people who answered this said, yeah, that can be a challenge. Limited representation of women in leadership roles. I think this is great if this is what's representative of Hungary. Only 10% think it's a problem. Moving on to an interesting one. The gender pay gap and unequal opportunities for career growth for women. 47% said, yes, that's a challenge here. So let's go there, as I say, and let's look at the challenges that women face in their career. And let's talk a little bit about some of the ways that actually you've been able to overcome those challenges. So I'm going to pass the mic over this way, because I know this is dear to your heart at the moment.
What I see right now is that me, a lady on maternity leave, that if you want to go back to your company and you want to do part-time, it's okay, because the companies do allow you to do only 4 hours or 6 hours, let's say. But take a look at LinkedIn for the job descriptions. How often do you see any positions where you don't have to work 8 hours with your children? So I think it's a huge problem for women going back to work. That's one of them. So I would definitely say it. That's why we do not take also, a lot of us, do not take leadership roles, because we know leadership role is not 40 hours a week, it's more. And if you have children, and how can you choose between family and work? Why don't men choose between family and work? Sorry, just a question. You don't have to answer it. So, and I think, yeah, there is a change. What I do see in my generation, but not for the older generation, let's say. And will there be a change as well for everyone? That's also.
But can I just ask, how does that actually manifest itself in reality? So I look at job adverts a lot, trying to understand the type of language that's being used in job adverts. Is it very male-orientated? How are they trying to attract talent into organizations? Now, is it starting to happen that more and more jobs are saying, yes, this is flexible, people can do part-time working, we are family-orientated? Is that something you see here in Hungary in job adverts as an example?
To be honest with you, not really. I mean, let's see the part-time part. No, I don't see it. The hybrid part, yes, that you can work from home 2-3 days a week or even more, depending on the company. I think it's good that it's getting more and more flexible with this. But on the other hand, do you have the system where do you take your child if you don't have any grandparents? If they are under 3 years old? Do you have the system for that? How many daycares do you have? That's also a big issue, but you have to to face, sorry.
Yeah, but honestly, looking 20 years back, because our kids are above 20 now, so old enough, I still see a difference, actually a huge difference. We have way more young fathers that are taking parental leave and are gone not only for a month or two, but for 5 months, for 6 months. So that's different. That did not happen 20 years ago. And the childcare, you need a good childcare support system, whether it is a nanny that you have. For example, in our company, we have our own kindergarten. So you can bring your little ones, and it's only up to 3 years, and then they have to go in the normal kindergarten. So you can bring your kids, and actually a number of colleagues, male and female, are doing it. So that has changed.
Yes, but here not now. Please correct me if I'm wrong. According to the Hungarian law, a father can have 10 days after the birth of their child, only 10 days. There are some companies which give you 1 month, and that's all. There are, I know, like 5 families from my acquaintances who chose that the father stayed at home for like 6 months. But it's very rare, still very rare. So the system is very different, yes, unfortunately.
A question, quick, yes, Pastor Kat, and then I have a question I would like to ask, and just think about this as you kind of carry on this discussion. But can we think also about the impact on career of all of this? So, we've talked about having children, and we've talked about, having a support network and what have you. But that takes a lot of doing, and I wonder, what does that do to stifle the career of women sometimes? So please, can you just kind of think about that when we're talking?
Yes, definitely. Women have to choose between the career and the family, I think. And what I wanted to add to what you just said is that it's, in my opinion, it's not only the care system that is there or it's not there. I think it's the fact or the way of thinking of the women. So I felt very guilty when I left my child to my mother. And by the way, I came back after half a year to work. Came back to work because they said if I don't come back, they will hire someone else. And I've chosen to work 2 weeks and another 2 weeks not to work. And I was coming from Romania to Budapest and back. And so 2 weeks my child was with my mother, and it was the best what could have happened, my mother and her father. But still, it was such a very, very difficult decision, I think. So it's even if you have the money to pay the nanny, even if there is a good childcare, it's in us that we want to stay with our children, and it's very difficult, I think. I would be interested in how do you, as a father, I
feel pretty much the same. I spend half of my day at playground with a laptop, it's funny, looking after the kids. So I do the same. I gave up kind of my career for some time. So it is. But it's not a give up for me. It's not a compromise. That's what I want to do. 5, 6 years from now, probably I'm going to do something different. But now, I'm fine. Playing with the kids, playing soccer, listening to stupid conference calls, meaningless. So, nevertheless, honestly speaking, like 10% is useful, rest is shit. So I'm fine with it. So that's my story.
I would like to share with you my own solution to this problem. My son is right now 7, almost 8 years old, and when he was big enough to come with me to the office, I brought him to the office. And even today, I'm doing this when he's at home and he cannot go to school, there's a vacation or something like that, then I usually bring my kid to the office. I'm lucky because my son is not a noisy one, so I can just put him down and he's just playing on his laptop, or just the majority of us, I think, have Xboxes or any kind of video games at our company. So I'm just putting the kid there and he's doing fine. I'm going to my meetings. Sometimes even he is joining my meetings, such as probably in your case, your kids are doing. So I'm there with my headset on my head and my kid is sitting next to me. But I'm not sure if this is gender specific or not. Usually mothers are expected to be, and now we are right now in the biases category. I know that my kid's father does the same, and he's bringing the kid to his office as well. So that's how we solved our problem, because, well, the grandparents are quite far away in Romania, so not quite close to us, and we could not solve it in anyhow. So either, I'm not saying that I choose career or I choose the kid, because if I would choose the career, I would think that I would miss much more. So there is a moment when you are just, trade-off, exactly.
Just going to be a bit controversial here and say, Attila, you made some very bold statements there. And as a woman, I'm wondering, would I have stood up and made the same type of statements as you have with the same level of conviction? You know, the issue, I think, for women quite often is, Klaudia will go into this a bit more, mom guilt. And now, obviously, you've got an element there of maybe dad guilt and what you want to do with your children. But this thing, mom guilt, I think for a lot of women can be quite debilitating. It can be really derogatory to how we actually are in the workplace. So I'd like to explore this a little bit. I'll pass the mic over to Klaudia, because I do believe for a lot of women it has a much greater impact, and we don't have that scope to say, it's shit and what have you. We just have to somehow or other get through this. So I just want to explore that a little bit. And, is it just me who's thinking, I wish I had the conviction of Attila to have stood up and said that? I don't think I could have done.
Yeah, but I guess, honestly, I think it really depends. When our daughter was born, I was working at the university, actually working on my PhD, and I wanted to get my PhD done. So when she was 3 months, she had a nanny, and my husband took care of her, so 2 of them. And I went back to work, and that was fine. And I did my PhD, but that's because I had the intrinsic motivation. I wanted to get it done. If I would have postponed it, it's like with your job, would have just went away. So it is a decision, and I think you need to make a conscious decision, because you're missing out on stuff, definitely. Like the first steps, the first words, you don't know. But she turned out fine, so nothing happened. And that's it. So yes, there is a step like that, but I'm more on your side. What the heck, I want to do it. And I still love my kids, don't get me wrong. And we have 3, so it's fine. But yeah, you may have to make a decision. Do you want to?
Let's talk a little bit about preparing, women into the workplace. And Andrea, you mentioned STEM and some of the initiatives that are taking place, I think, to perhaps encourage girls to get a little bit more involved. I'm quite keen to hear a little bit about the type of programs that are happening in Hungary, and perhaps you could kick us off with some things you're involved in.
I am really grateful because I am joining as a teacher for the International Safer Internet Project approximately 20 years. And I just visiting a lot of schools, and after I was also lucky because I can join Women in IT Security. And after that, we can establish the Hungarian chapter of Women for Cyber. Women for Cyber Foundation is a European Union-founded foundation, and there is 28 countries now. And I am proud because I am the founder of the Hungarian chapter. But I was working 15 years long to get this achievement. And on the other hand, this experience gives us a lot of opportunities because we are visiting a lot of schools before, so we have really good basis to run a program to visit all of the schools around the country. And as I said, we are not just promoting IT security as a role for the kids, we are promoting all of the IT-related roles for them. And to tell the truth, could I mention the last week? To tell the truth, we were really lucky because we applied for and get the opportunity to make the Girls in ICTD 224 from the International Telecommunication Union last week, and we get 553 kids involved that 4 hours. It was a hybrid event, and we just love it. And to tell the truth, I think all of us working on this topic to get involved any of the generations into these IT roles. And I think if we are able to empower women and girls to enter this field, testing, security, BIA, and all those things, it is just amazing, and we need such an amount of professionals now. So we have a lot of roles to fulfill. So I just want to encourage everyone to take a part of some of the programs and join us to bring all of the experiences inside the system, because I think in Hungary we really need to show them how beautiful IT is. Yes, because, in Hungary I think we are missing role models. Not only on the women part, but the full thing. So I think IT is not really well presented in the schools now around the country. But on the other hand, girls do not have any idea how to enter this field. And we have to encourage them.
So let's look a little bit more at the other type of programs that might be available. Imola, I'm going to come to you and ask if you know anything that girls, young women thinking about a career in testing, that they might access. If there aren't such programs available, then what sort of thoughts do you have about how we can start those programs, how we can engage people and motivate them to want to build that type of program, to start them early, really, to show this is a good career?
Tough question. I have to think. As far as I know, there were some initiatives, especially at the universities, where it was inclusion for girls, how to involve them into the IT. But on the other hand, what I think is that even before the university, it shouldn't be biased that, I do not know, just girls or just males can join the IT. Which is interesting for me today, that it's when it comes about edu thinking, then to join the testing is quite easy for women. And what I can see today is that women which are turning back from maternity leave are definitely thinking in testing and in IT, and I'm very happy in it. For example, they are joining some trainings, they are interested in what they can do, and I have 2 women in my team. However, it's a 10-person team, so we can say that it's about 20%, which is absolutely the industry standard. However, they weren't hired because of the numbers, I have to tell it. And what I can see, they are performing the same as the other people are doing. So as a career path, obviously, even the women should be shown that, look, those are the possibilities. If you would like, then yes, there it is. But this is the same as I do for the other members of my team, for the male members as well. What I can say, what is the difference between, in general, women and men, is that women are not so brave. And being a little bit more shy, they cannot outstand for themselves, nor for career path, nor for salary, for example. And this is the part what I would suggest in the future for women to improve. Well, stand for yourself. Yes, that's what you are doing. You are doing it great. Just go ahead. I'm not sure if this answers your question because that was quite possible.
Yes, connecting to what you just said, I think it would be very important for women to understand what are the feminine skills that make women good as quality people and as testers, and emphasize that, tell them. For instance, I discovered in myself that thinking of the detail, paying attention to the detail, being organized, having patience to listen to others helps me a lot in quality assurance. Basically, I do quality assurance and less testing, but I think these are skills that we maybe don't consider them very important, but in fact they are. And I would emphasize this, tell this to girls. Regarding the research, yes, preparing for this panel, I looked to the Technical University web pages, and I knew that there was a day for girls. We organized that now or the university is organizing that for more years. It was on the 25th of April this year, and it was for high school girls, inviting them to come to the Technical University and showing them how beautiful it is to work, not only in the IT, but in other fields as well. And I also discovered, for instance, that we have a gender quality plan between 222 and 225, both the Budapest University of Technology. And it has things like fostering gender equality in recruitment, supporting work-life balance, achieving gender balance in leadership, decision-making, and so on. And still it is very interesting to see that only, for instance, on the electrical engineering faculty where I work, only 7% of the whole personnel is women. Seven teachers with scientific degrees. The entire percentage of girls, of ladies, of women in between the students is altogether around 30%. So it's also very low, I think. And in our department, it's so low that it's not even mentioned. Why is that? It's an interesting question, and in my opinion, it just comes back to the ideas we tell the girls, that you are a girl, you must have a family, you play with a doll, and somehow it's and a boy plays with something else, and he loves to become an engineer. So because honestly, I have the experience that the girls who are there are performing at least at the level of the boys, at least. But usually they perform better, so they are better students than the boys. So they have the capability. And that's why I think that it would be very important to tell the young ladies, the girls, that yes, you are good to be an engineer. It's interesting to be an engineer. And one more thing, I found out also these days that we have a foundation here called NATE. Do you know about it?
Yes, we have a relationship with them.
Okay.
And
so this Hungarian Women in Science. And it's kind of a mentorship program, and you can teach people and you can help people to find their ways in science-related directions. I did not know about all this.
Thank you. Andrea, I'm sure you've got something to say about those stats.
I just want to add another view from the problem, because I think we are lucky because we are here in Budapest. But on the countryside, it is really different thing for everyone. And I just want to, again, ask your help to bring the verse to the countryside also, because this is why we bring our event to Szeged the last week. Because on the countryside, it is, yes, all of the percentage is just next to the zero. Okay, and I think all of us, it is the most important point to distribute all of the information that part of the country or around the country also, because it could be lifesaver for someone if we are able to lift up them.
Yeah, I wanted to add a couple of things that we are doing. So last Thursday was the Girls' Day, and we had girls at work. So we invited the girls in around the age 12 to 14, so quite young, and they did a bug hunt and they enjoyed it. So that's normally a quite fun event, so they really like it. And at the universities, we're also having like a mentoring program for female students, how to advance. It's called Ariadne, from the Greek lady. So that actually also works quite nice, and they're planning to extend that to students at high school, so that you already talk to them and try to bring them in. And I have to say, the young students I've been working with, they have been very open to go into STEM areas, or the young girls actually. They enjoy it, and they have as much fun as the boys.
Attila, can you help out here with the microphone? Because I'd just like to kind of pass over to the audience a little bit. They were quite astounding stats that we've just heard. And I'd like to know from the audience, particularly people here in Hungary, were you surprised hearing those statistics from Katalin?
Anyone? No surprises?
No surprise at all?
Honestly, I wasn't really surprised about the numbers. I would actually expected it to be even lower, because a change in this size needs significant amount of time. Also because we were a very different country back in the days. I think it's a very slow transitions from that, even after the 90s. And it's also important that it's very nice that we have these foundations that make it easier for women to join these. But if from the society or government you're still pressured that the woman's main role is to give birth and stay at home, then these foundations actually doesn't work that much, unfortunately. That's what even you didn't know, and that actually tells a lot. And it's a kind of sad story about that.
So just to explore that a little bit, that's at a perhaps more generic governmental level, women stay at home. What is it that people can do? People who've got daughters, teenage girls, what type of thing can you do as a parent to help get the mindset right for those girls and think, move into a role in engineering? What type of thing might we think about?
I think what you mentioned is late. I would even start at kindergarten but because I have this stereotype in my mind that boys are smart and girls are beautiful. Sorry to say it. Not maybe in every family, but I also heard that your brother is smart enough for mathematics and you are not. And that's why I never studied economics, but that's another issue. But no, it's true. So I would say that why not bringing science also to kindergarten children? Is very clear. When my daughter comes to me, she's 3, and asks me, "Mommy, why is the sky blue? Why is the tram so loud? Whatever. Why do the planes stay in the sky?" And I don't tell her, "Go to your father, ask him, he knows better." But if I don't know, I also search for it. And if you can answer the questions of a 3-year-old, you know everything about your field. So please, if you have little children in your family or your friends have little children, talk to them, explain to them, what are you doing? What is a tester doing on a daily basis? Are you just pushing the buttons on your laptop?
We've got a very mixed audience here. I don't know if everybody understands. We've got people from almost every part of the world here. I know from Israel, from Slovakia, from Lithuania, from Portugal. So let's have a chat with some people from other countries and see how that sits with them. Dimitri from Lithuania. So this whole idea, ladies stay at home, you chaps go out, and you're the hunters who are bringing home the bacon, as we say. How does that sit in Lithuania?
It triggers to think a lot. I have two daughters. Adore them, love them. So it made me think what's future awaits. But I would like to reflect a little bit about the stats Katalin shared. I just looked up. I have students at Vilnius University, 105 this year. So I just did a quick review how many students are female, and I've counted 14. So 14 out of 105. It's computer science, faculty of mathematics and informatics. So yeah, probably that something goes kind of deeply into the roots, like you've brought up. Maybe it's a good thing to start in kindergarten, for sure. Because once the students get to the university, we already see that there is some balance. And going further, it's like 7%, right?
I'm going to point my finger at Stuart Reed now, who I know is going to entertain you all in a moment. Stuart, I'm from the UK like you, and in my utopian world of education in the UK and, female careers and what have you, I think it's all perfectly balanced, and at university level it's all balanced, and I think we bring up our children wonderfully without this stereotypical girl jobs, boy jobs. Am I totally disillusioned?
Well, my perception is that, well, not perception, the numbers in the UK show that going to university, there are more women than there are men going to university. So I think from that perspective, the balance is fine. Although, I was just thinking about trying to get women into science, and my daughter's a fashion designer and my son's a computer scientist. So even though I spent quite a lot of effort trying to get them to do something different, but I think in the UK it's not so bad. But I'm employed in Korea, and I'm in Korea 3 or 4 months a year. In Korea, it's very different. And I think different countries have very different challenges.
So, we're talking about people entering a career in technology. There's another elephant in the room here, and that is, how do women actually progress to leadership roles in technology? And Klaudia, I'm going to pass this over to you because, again, we've looked at representation just at university level. We're thinking about representation in work. Let's look a little bit about representation in leadership roles and some of the challenges, obstacles, and opportunities there are for women.
Well, looking at leadership roles at the university, in Erlangen, where I studied, we had like 10 or 11 different chairs and one female professor, so one. So that was the 10% thing. That didn't work really well. And looking back at work right now, leadership, women in leadership positions when I was growing up is the wrong word. Entering my career, no, there were not too many. I think it changed slightly, but what I see, and perhaps that is just a personal observation, what I see if I look at young women coming from the university, so I'm talking about 23, 24, they don't necessarily want that. They want more work-life balance. Not only the girls, also the boys. They want to work 4 days only and 3 days off. So it changed. So the willingness or the drive to actually take responsibility and do management has changed, at least from my generation to the next one. It's different. They are not really eager to do it. They want an, I wouldn't say easy, but they want an established job. They want to know what they're doing. Taking on the next step is not necessarily on their bucket list. My view. Perhaps it's different here.
Yeah, it is interesting because, you know, nowadays being a security guy is a fancy thing. So I'm always holding Chief Information Security Officer, Business Information Security Officer, Group CISO, and that type of roles. But to tell the truth, I am 44 years old now. And I am approximately at 40, I am just arriving there where no one around me to follow as a mentor, you know? And I think for our generation, it is incredibly difficult to find someone to learn. I think I have a military background, so leadership skills I think I have a lot of. But on the other hand, dealing with the daily routines, planning strategies, making plans, which is understandable for the business in the security way, sure. But it is a really different thing. And, you know, if I find some leader who want to mentor, being a mentor for me, it is always a male. And it is a really different style and a really different mindset. It is not better or worse, okay? It is just different. And I really want to find a woman to follow as a mentor. And I think it is important for us now. And it couldn't be from the ages, I think, because there is all of the generation want to find something like this.
Two things came into my mind right now. Does your mentor really have to be from your field? See, why don't we choose somebody who's doing totally different what we do? And what I saw as a good example was a few years ago, it was reverse mentoring. Okay, it were two guys. They were almost the same age, but one of them was a top manager and the other one was just, let's say, a team leader at our company. And we were just starting to get agile at my company. And this top manager said, if I want to become a really good agile manager, I need a different mindset. And he found this other guy, and they did it for 6 months. And this guy was also allowed to go to all the meetings everywhere. He could enter everywhere. And they were always asking feedback from their managers, from everybody around. So why not do a reverse mentoring? It worked very, very fine for them. So I say, let's choose another field and let's do it differently, how we do it right now. Why not?
I'm just conscious of time, so we have 5 minutes left. So I'd just like to push it out to the audience to say, are there any topics that you'd like to explore with the panel specifically?
Yeah. Just to share also my experience in Portugal. So I have 2 girls, and when we had the first one, it was our decision, a couple decision, that my wife will stay at home for 2 years. So basically, she stopped the career for 2 years. And to be honest, I don't think she was the one losing. I think I was the one losing more in the story. You know, I felt that a lot, and that's why I tried to change the things with my second one. Looking to the situation in Portugal, I see more and more fathers taking the days off, so taking the paternity leave instead of the mothers. And looking to my current situation, so in my team, it's more or less 50-50. So 50% men, 50% women. But when I look to the management team, so my management team, it's actually the other way around. It's 60-40, so majority are women. And to be honest, in QA, for the last 16 years, I was always used to see that. And probably because I also had a mentor that was a woman, and I learned a lot with her. But most of my teams in QA, since the beginning, they were always or balanced or with more women. And we had also a meetup in Lisbon with Klaudia on the Women's Day. And yeah, exactly. And we talked about what makes the difference. And it's not about skill, it's not or lack of skill. It's more about lack of confidence. So that's what I see looking to my teams, even on my management team. That's what I see as the main difference. Usually the men are much more confident, and that opens doors. Because they are willing to take the risk, and they say, "I can do it." And they are not afraid to do it.
Yeah, I need to bring my example because I think that's what I really saw. If you have a list of skills that you need to have, and if you, just from my field, if you have a man and he covers 50%, he says, yeah, I have 50%, I can do it. And if you are a woman and you cover 50%, no, you're way too bad, right? You need at least 80, 90%. So that's the difference. That's, for me, captures the difference. Not the real skills or capabilities, but the confidence in doing it. So be brave, just do it.
Do we have any more questions? Looking over there. Just picking up from what Claudia was saying, be brave. It's not just necessarily about be brave. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are perhaps recruiting and employing. What is it that organizations can do to try to attract women and to stop that feeling of, I can't apply for that, I'm a woman? Is it something to do with the language of CVs? Is it something to do with the hiring process? What can be changed?
Sorry, I just think we have to change the whole system because nowadays everyone talking about imposter syndrome and all those things, and it is always connecting somewhat to the girls. And I just hate it. And I think we have to cover all of the things because not you the problem. The system is the problem. And because we are stand up and want the equal pay and equal everything around the job we are making the daily life, we just have to get the another salary and all those, the environment around us, which is suitable for us. And that's all. We have to change the system.
I can't think of a better way to end this session, actually. We have to change the system and be brave. And I think that says an awful lot. So can I say a huge thank you to everybody for attending today, but a massive thank you to the panel for taking part. So thank you very much. And very appreciated.